It is the end of May, and I thought this would be a good time to do another catch-up video. So here is the rose garden. I did get it cleaned up, but I've not moved any of the roses yet. So it's looking a lot better. And you'll probably hear lots of dog noises in this video. Over here I have a couple of things that are waiting to be planted. Those are false cypress, and I think there's a blue rug juniper hiding in there waiting to be planted. And over here, that's Coda, who's carrying the ball. That's Melody, who's running after him. And over here is the newest garden spot, the shade spot. And I have a couple of bleeding hearts planted in here now. There's one here and one at the back. There is all sorts of stuff in here. And of course, the creatures have started to help themselves to the mouse-eared hostas. Honestly, I'm just buying a buffet for all the animals around here instead of plants that I'm going to get to enjoy. I have a new little glass bell in here. Thought that was very cute. And over here are a couple new Japanese maples that I don't know where to put them yet. So I've just kind of parked them here in the shade. This maple I took out of the front sidewalk area, and I just did this today, so it is not happy at this point in time. I don't know if it'll survive. Its root structure was strange, and so it may not survive the shock. And then I will take you back over here. And here in front of the garage are my garage planters, and they're just existing. They're just doing their thing. Well, coming over here, my peach swirl rose is doing nicely. The echinacea is coming up. The phlox is still there. I think that's a salvia, either a salvia or veronica. There might be a veronica. And then you can see the peonies up the path. And Enrique, who's sitting on the steps because he thinks he belongs here. Even though he got in a fight with Wella the other day. It did not turn out well. There's Coda being a goofball in the yard. Coming around to the front of the walk. Melody, come out of there. Come on, Mel. These are the African daisies. They look a little happier now that we've had a nice warm day today. The irises are just getting ready to open. I did have one rose out of the 3 out front here survive. And then my peonies. More of the African daisies. That's vinca blooming there. My petunias, those were a couple hanging baskets that I paid $3 each for because they looked really terrible. So they're rescued, but they are doing nicely in the baskets. And then a couple of sweet potato vines. Melody, come on. Thank you. My porch, which has not been summerfied yet, it just looks pretty sad. More peonies. The Oscar Peterson rose. And some, I forget, some sort of little bluegrass in there. Then we'll move along underneath the shrubbery. And then in here is a bunch of ground elder, which really wants to rule the world. Sure does. And then some peonies that are peeking out of the ground elder. I don't know if I can get those moved out of there or not. They're trying, but that ground elder is vicious. Melody, come along. And then over here, I have lilacs blooming. And I believe the two that are blooming are Miss Kim's. The one that Melody's about to walk over, that one, is either an ordinary white or an ordinary purple. I can't remember which. But the two Miss Kim's I bought. The other three were started from runners. The wee little rose is not doing very well. It was, and now it's just kind of petering out on me. I don't know if this little lemon burst will come back or not. I just leave it in hopes. This tiny sedum here, I'm going to wind up moving because it's not doing well out here. This one's doing okay, but I'll probably move it as well. The Little Devil 9 bark is making a surprisingly good recovery after it almost died from deer munchies. That little rose is working. I need to trim some of that dead stuff off of it. And this lilac, hopefully next year this one blooms for me. So then we go around here. Come on, guys. Come on, get the ball, Coda. I have some ferns growing under there. Sorry, this is lumpy grass, so it's making the camera wiggle. And over here I got this cleaned up. I trimmed back all of the dead stuff off of the Iceberg Alley willow. There's a yarrow behind it. This is Dancing in the Dark Rose, which had some weird bugs in it, and it may still, I don't know, something had cocooned itself in the leaves. It was gross. And then the hydrangeas are doing well. There's a little violet in there. And back in the back, there was a buddleia, and it showed no signs of life. So I have replaced it with a laced up elderberry. This one is not supposed to get as big and wild and crazy wide as like the black lace or the lemony lace. So I thought the laced up would be a pretty contrast to the hydrangeas. And then over here in the back you can see the flag iris are getting ready to bloom. And then there's clematis, and then another willow, the Iceberg Alley willow. And then, say hello, Melody. This little patch here, I had something sitting on there that left a bald patch. So last year I threw some wild seeds on there. Didn't seem to do anything. But this year, I didn't mow it this time because I have red clover. I have never seen red clover here, so I think perhaps it is left over from the seeds that I threw out here. So my plan is to pull all that freaking creeping Charlie out of there, sprinkle some dirt down, and toss some more wild seeds in there and see what I get. I might do zinnias because I did buy a couple packs of those. And then over here are more flag iris. Mel! Do not. Which I have to watch her because she's a snacker, and iris are toxic to dogs. I do plan on moving that at some point soon. And this is my blue/herb garden. I worked on part of the borders of it. You can see it's still lumpy. This side needs work still. I planted a few more things in here. I replaced some of the dead lavender. Melody's just a plant masher. She just walks all over everything. I planted some delphiniums in here today, and then just basically did some cleanup and some edge work. Pardon my shadow. This one at the front that looks similar to a lavender is actually a hyssop. And then I did have one rose in here that survived. I think this one was a red rose that was supposed to be a blue girl, and simply was not. It was red. So there is the update on the blue garden with all the herbs. Some of the lavender you can see is coming in well. The sage is doing great. Behind it is curled parsley. Over on this side, that is lovage, and behind the lovage, there is germander, right down there. And then over on the far side is winter savory. So out here, I got this little area cleaned up a bit. It needs some more work. I don't know if this Buddleia survived. I do not see anything happening with it, which is really strange because it has been beautiful for the past few years. And I don't see any signs of life on it. I'm leaving it to see what happens. I don't know. Come out of there, guys. This is a whole bunch of petunias that I got on sale. They are waiting to go in the ground, but knowing how the animals are around here, they'll probably be a snack before anything happens with them. Come out of there, Coda. Coda is cleaning up. I believe I spilled some biotone out there, and he is probably going to make himself sick. I've put a whole bunch of stuff in here. I had to cage the Japanese maple here because I was so happy with it. It was really filling out. It just was looking beautiful this year, and something snacked on the left half of it. I'm so bummed. My blueberry bushes are actually coming on. I won't have any blueberries this year, I'm sure, but at least they're not dead. Boom Chocolata, I have a cage over that simply to dissuade snacking because something came along and ate the blooms off of it. And I have done all sorts of planting in here. I've added some heucheras. I think those were Lobelias, Purple Dragon, and some coleus. Some Aquilegia or Columbine. A bellflower, which is Campanula. And then the Eclipse hydrangea, and then a couple of Jack Frost. I think those are Jack Frost, Broneras, and then the Tian Shan. And then in the middle here, I moved the two sedums to either side. The river birch are still surviving. There's a foxglove in here, but I don't know if it's going to stay there. There was an empty spot there, and I placed it. We'll see. I moved the garden fairy back just in front of the sand cherry. And then over to this side, I've added a whole lot of things in here. The Nepeta is doing great. It looks like I have probably some echinacea coming up, or it could be daisies, or it could be blanket flowers. Can't remember. Won't know. And those are a couple cardinal flowers. I got a couple little sedums in there. Over here, I've put in another foxglove in front of the 2 sedums. This is a Paris in the Moonlight rose, which is not dead. It looks like it is, but it does have life, and it is starting to show signs that it may bud at some point. And then over here, what did I do? The one in front is a Gara, and the one in the back, I don't remember. I'm terrible about that. This rose is a Ring of Fire rose to replace the one that I accidentally killed up front. There's another Gara, another foxglove, more mystery, won't know till they blooms, and then another, I can't remember what it was. Maybe that's the Lobelia. I don't remember. But then my hibiscus are doing nicely. I'm sorry, the sun at this time of day makes videoing a little bit on the difficult side. The sun's definitely making things look a little wonky. But these guys are definitely getting leaves, which makes me very happy. Then I spent a lot of time in the white garden just pulling weeds because this was a blooming disaster. I added rock white dianthus and an iceberg rose on the left there. I trimmed back the dappled willow because it was really, really full. I'm leaving the arborvitaes to see if they do anything. I don't know. And then I have a new pagoda that does light up at night. It has a very soft, gentle little light in it at night. And then over here, similar but not exact. Things do not grow the same on both sides. And obviously, since I just stuck the roses in, even though the ground was saturated and I watered them, they need more water. Oh, look. There's my planting mat and my gloves. Guess I know where those are now. So from here, you can see my apple trees and the raspberries. And then we'll walk over to where I've done one last partial sun planting. Come on, Mel. Should I tell you that she just tramped a bunch of flowers on her way over here? She did. So over here on the left, before you get to the debris field, which you are supposed to be ignoring, you are ignoring that, right? You're not looking at the debris field right in front of you. But over here, and I'm sorry because my shadow's going to be in the way again, this is my partial sun planting. I'll back up so that you can see it a little better without as much of me. And I have a new garden fairy over here. She sits in front of a heart rock. And I just thought she was very pretty. And that is your update for today. There's more planting to happen, but I'm out of energy. That's it for today. Bye.